Hi, I'm Heidi Bilesma. Welcome to our second group session for our Healthy Eating and Abundant Living Bible Study. I want us to discuss today in the comments beneath this video some of the things that you may have really responded to this week in our study. Would you share with us what resonated with you? What might have been in the reading that you did in the Healthy Eating Abundant Living book, or it may have even been in the comments from some of the posts during the week. If you're not participating in the study, that's okay. You can participate in this discussion as well. If you've been here at the blog at all and seen some of the comments, read them, participated at all, then please participate in this. What is it that God is impressing upon your heart? This week we looked at some of the mechanics of eating this way, this non-dieting, grace-based way. And we're going to do a little bit of review, but not much. What we're really going to do is get into the HEAL pyramid in just a moment. Have you been a die-hard dieter in the past? Are you beginning to see ways that your dieting mentality can affect you, even as you try to shake loose of it and embrace this new approach, or embrace yet again this approach of eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're no longer hungry? Any food that you desire, it's amazing how many ways a dieting mentality can affect us. And that may be true for a long time. When you think about it, think how long we trained ourselves to think like dieters. And how long have we actually been trying not to think like dieters? How long have we been renewing our minds to be people who trust God with the signals that our body's going to give us with any food at all? Let's give ourselves some time. What might the dieting mentality look like for you? It might be that if you have broken a boundary by mid-afternoon, you're going to throw out the whole day, because back in our dieting days, if we went beyond our points or our calories or our blocks or our grams of whatever it was we were trying to count, if we did that by 10 o'clock in the morning, we figured, what the heck, the whole day is a waste anyway, I might as well go nuts. Okay? That is a part of the dieting mentality. If you feel like I've broken my 0 to 5 boundary, it's only 11 a.m. and you quit for the day and just decide to eat out of whatever you want to, whenever you want to, that's from the dieting mentality. We don't need to give in to that. Do you also tend to assume that if you're more active, you're going to be hungry more often? That may or may not be true. The truth is your body is reliable and it will give you signals when it needs food. I have found in all of the time that I've done this that sometimes my body will signal me for more food on days when I'm more active, but sometimes it doesn't. And so I just have no way of knowing. I just need to listen to my body and ask God to show me, help me to be obedient and not to lie. Well, I'm sure I'm hungry right now. I just ran 3 miles or whatever. You know, maybe that's true, maybe not. Sometimes it's our bodies are using up the food that we've stored, which is kind of the point. Anyway, do you still feel like there are some foods that are good to eat and some foods that are bad to eat? Again, that's the dieting mentality. We want to shake loose of that. And in the future, we will be looking more at beneficial choices, but there are no good foods or bad foods. This is a training opportunity. Give yourselves a chance to learn and to grow. That's all there is to it. You can't expect to be perfect right now. Hey, another thought I want to be sure we talk about before we wrap up this week. Do you have an accountability partner yet? I just need you to know that you've got to email me if you want somebody to get your email address and to know that you are interested in being a partner with them. Please do not assume I'm going to see that at the comments on that page, on the accountability page. Okay, so those things said, and there will be more about accountability, I think, in tomorrow's post. The HEAL pyramid is on page 36, and you're going to want to have a look at that. Keep it open so you can refer to it. You're going to be flipping back and forth in the book. If you do not have the HEAL book, that's okay, because I think my description will be sufficient for you to get an idea, a pyramid, and what it looks like and what each layer is. So the foundation, the base of this pyramid, the broadest part of this pyramid in HEAL is our relationship with God. And Allie and Judy asked us this week in the group session to take some time to establish a goal for each of the levels of the pyramid. That first one is relationship with God. So what I would like you to do is think about this. In a moment, you're going to have a chance to pause the video. You're going to pray first, and you're going to ask God, what should my goal be for my relationship with you? You want this goal to be something that you can observable, something that you know if you've accomplished it or not. Not only will you want to set a goal, but then you'll want to ask God to show you what are some action steps that can help me to accomplish this goal. Let me give you some examples. You might want to grow more dependent on God. You might want to have a sense of His presence throughout the day. You might want to feel more confident that you know His true character. Those might be goals, or something like what you might set as a goal. An action step might be to start each day with a quiet time, to have a God list, to add to it by reading one psalm and pulling at least 3 things from it, to add to your list of what God is like and how does He treat people. Praying before and at the end of each meal might develop your dependence on God. That might be an action step. Setting a timer on your watch to go off every hour and just checking in with Him, saying, I am aware of you, God. Thank you that you are walking with me. So those are some possibilities. So now I want you to pause this video and pray and ask God to show you, what is my goal to be, God, in my relationship with you, and what are a couple, 2 or 3 action steps that I can take to be sure I accomplish that goal. Pause now. Okay, well, the second layer of our pyramid, so our bottom one is our foundational relationship with God, and that is the most important part of this journey. The next layer, which isn't as broad, just like in a pyramid, is our relationship with food. And you're going to, again, in a moment, pause the video and ask God what your goal relative to your relationship to food should be. For instance, an example might be to walk in freedom with eating any kind of food, to break free from dieting lists, from good food and bad food lists, to develop a heart that sees food as a friend rather than a source of torment. Another relationship with food goal might be, I'm going to learn that I eat to live rather than live to eat. So I'm going to change my passions from being a passion for food and wanting food to be kind of the hub of my life, to letting life be about God and about so much more, and knowing that food is just going to fuel that. So those are examples of goals for your relationship with food. Some action steps might include renewing your mind about food, and I gave an example on Wednesday. There's an audio for that. And a perfect meal experience, where you set up the most delightful foods that you can imagine, a delightful environment, a meal where you have planned, I'm going to be at 0, I'm going to be able to sit down, I'm not going to have chaos going on, it's going to be peace and calm, foods that I really relish, and you're going to experience a prayerful meal filled with gratitude of any food that you could possibly imagine. The foods that you delight in, that maybe in the past were on your bad food lists. And so that might be an action step as well. Okay, so stop the video now and pray. Ask God to show you, what should my goal regarding my relationship with food be, and what are some action steps that I can take, and jot that down. So the foundation is our relationship with God, and then the second level is our relationship with food. The third level, again, it's not nearly as broad as the first and the second layer. The third layer is that the hunger, fullness eating. And so you can ask God, what should my goal be so that I can develop more faithfulness in my hunger, fullness eating? And just a hint might be considering hunger and fullness or satisfaction, or 0 and 5, a primary boundary. You could say, I'm going to set 0 to 5 as a boundary for myself. I'm going to eat within those parameters. I'm going to have total freedom within that. That is my goal. Another goal might be, I just need to wait until I'm hungry for a change. That might be a goal that you have. Or I'm just going to really try to learn how to stop at 5 when I've had enough food. That might be another goal. Action steps that you could take Could be any of the other keys to conscious eating, calming your mind, removing the chaos from the environment, sitting down. All kinds of things could be action steps to help you, to support you as you develop an ability for hunger fullness or hunger satisfaction or 0 to 5 eating. So or whatever your primary goal is for hunger fullness eating. So take a few moments now, pause the video and pray. Ask God what He would have your goal to be in this area and your action steps. Okay, notice now the last part of the pyramid at the tippy top. The one that is firmly established on hunger fullness eating, on my relationship with food, and on that big old base of my relationship with God. This last part is beneficial food choices. Now in diets, we flip this pyramid around and picture a pyramid standing on its tip. It's unstable. And that's one reason why diets don't work for us. It's not a stable place. We need that relationship with God to provide stability. Okay, so now beneficial food choices, it's a little bit tricky to go there. And so if you're fresh out of dieting, especially obsessive dieting, you might want to ask God if you should put this off for a while. This isn't about going back to food lists, good foods and bad foods. This begins to be about discernment and asking God to show you what fuels my body best, what works best for my body. And beneficial food choices usually have you consider there are some foods that are nutritionally dense. 1 Corinthians 6:12 says, all things are permissible, yahoo! But not all things are beneficial. So we want to take that into account. It also says all things are permissible, but I will not be mastered by anything. So in this part of the pyramid, you might, again, ask God if you even should have a goal yet for this, because then within it's phase 2. It's farther down the road than we are right now. You would ask Him, God, is there some way that I could be more discerning and give my body the fuel that you want me to give it? Is there something I need to eat that's different than what I tend to eat? And just ask Him that. It's not about having a good food, bad food list. It's about listening to Him and the Spirit within and your body and how it feels in response to certain foods. So in a moment, you're going to pause the video and you're going to ask God if now's the time for you to have a goal for that and what the action steps might be. Okay? So pause the video. Okay, now I urge you not to let that beneficial food choices mess you up. If it does, just skip it and we'll come back to it some other time. Okay. As we experience the freedom that God has intended for us, we're going to find ourselves more and more open and able to break free from the dieting thoughts of the past and that mentality, and free to make choices that in the past we might have thought were associated with dieting, but they won't necessarily be anymore. That may be down the road. Anyway, I do like to encourage people to take time with that. Use discernment. Don't turn this into a diet, okay? I want you to be sure that you just wait on God to show you what you need to know. What anybody else does isn't the point. It's what you need to know. And that's what this journey is about. It's about building your intimacy with God. Your dependence on God is going to grow as you ask Him, Lord, is this what I should eat in this moment? Am I truly hungry or am I deceiving myself? Finally, I want to ask you, can you share with us below in the comments, how can we be praying for you? Others here will be visiting and looking for ways that they can pray, I'm sure, and they will pray for your request. I look forward to what God has in store in the week yet ahead. Have a great weekend and hang in there. He is faithful. He's doing a new thing.